the furnace that forged you. There's a moment in every life when everything falls apart. The silence after the betrayal, the empty room after someone leaves, the slow, suffocating ache of watching dreams collapse. Relationships rot and hope slip through your fingers like sand. And in that moment when your world feels scorched, when nothing makes sense, you ask the question no one wants to say out loud: why me? But here's the secret. They never tell you. Pain is not the end. It's the beginning. Suffering. No matter how brutal is a forge, and like all forges, it burns. It strips away comfort. It exposes weakness. It drags you down into the rawest version of yourself. But it is there in the agony, in the isolation, in the heartbreak that something quietly begins to grow. Power. Not the loud kind. Not the power you flaunt, but the silent, immovable kind. The kind you earn in darkness. The kind no one can take from you. Because here's the truth. Most people run from. You don't become powerful despite your suffering. You become powerful through it. That sleepless night where you thought you couldn't go on. That was the night you didn't break that betrayal that shattered your trust. It taught you discernment, that failure that humiliated you. It killed your ego and forced you to rebuild from a place of truth. The world teaches you to avoid pain, to fear discomfort, to run the second things get hard. But everything meaningful, everything truly transformational requires sacrifice. You can't grow muscles without tearing fibers. You can't form wisdom without making mistakes. You can't build resilience without being brought to your knees. And that's why suffering is sacred. It wakes you up. It strips the lies. It shows you who you are when there's nothing left to perform for. And in those moments, those raw, hollow moments, your real character is born. Not the version that smiles for photos. Not the version you show the world, but the version that fights when no one's watching. The one that doesn't quit. The one that chooses to stand again, even when their legs are shaking. Every scar on your heart is proof that you felt something deeply, that you risked, that you lived, that you didn't hide behind comfort and numbness. And that's why suffering doesn't make you weak, it reveals your strength. But here's the catch. The power is not in the pain itself, it's in what you do with it. Some people stay broken. They make their suffering their identity. They keep bleeding on people who didn't cut them. But others, the rare few, they use that pain. They learn from it. They let it refine them. They build something from the ashes. They don't just survive suffering. They evolve through it. And you've seen them, the ones who walk with quiet strength. The ones who don't complain but command respect. The ones who've been through hell and don't need to prove anything. Because their presence alone tells a story. Those people weren't born like that. They were made in fire, in heartbreak, in failure, in loss. That calm, it was earned. So if you're hurting right now, if life has ripped something out of you, if you feel like everything's falling apart, don't rush to escape it. Sit in it, breathe through it, learn from it. Because there's something in the pain that no book, no quote, no mentor can give you. Truth. The truth of who you are when everything is stripped away. And when you come out the other side, you'll carry a power that's unshakable. You won't need to chase validation. You won't beg for approval, because you'll know you walked through fire and came out clean. And that kind of strength, that kind of presence, it can't be bought. It can only be earned by facing the pain instead of running from it. By now, you know suffering isn't just some cruel accident of life. It's the doorway, the sharpening blade, the fire that either destroys you or turns you into someone unrecognizable. But what comes after the fire, that's the part most people never get to see, because most people stop at survival. They stop at enduring pain. But what if pain wasn't just something to get through? What if it was the engine that could drive you to a life most people are too comfortable to ever reach? Here's where everything changes, when you stop seeing your suffering as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. That breakup you didn't think you'd survive, it didn't just break your heart. It showed you who you were without someone else defining your worth. That failure that nearly buried you, it carved away your illusions. It forced you to get real about your purpose. That rock bottom, it made you dangerous, because people who've hit the bottom no longer fear falling. And when fear dies, freedom is born. You begin to move differently. You stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing shallow people and shallow pleasures. You start building a life with intention, with clarity, with a kind of raw, unapologetic truth that comes only from having nothing left to lose. That's the paradox of pain. It strips away everything unnecessary until all that remains is you. The real you. The one who doesn't flinch. The one who knows exactly what they want. The one who's no longer afraid to be alone, to be misunderstood, or to stand in their power, even when it's uncomfortable. But you must choose to rise. Suffering alone doesn't transform you. It's the choice you make when you're sitting in that dark room. It's deciding to get back up, to use what you've learned and to build from the wreckage. It's refusing to become bitter, refusing to be a victim, refusing to let the pain become a chain around your neck. Here's what most people don't realize. Suffering gives you leverage. You now understand what truly matters. You don't get distracted like others. You've seen what happens when you lose everything, and that makes you focused, unshakable. You no longer fear being broken because you've already been shattered and survived. That's where true confidence is born. Not from praise or popularity, but from pain overcome. So now what? Now you use it. You let that pain fuel your purpose. You show up for your goals, like someone who knows what real loss feels like. You stop tolerating mediocrity in yourself, in your relationships, in your surroundings. You hold standards. Because once you've been through the fire, you stop pretending the small stuff matters. You start building legacy impact, meaning you stop needing noise, and you start craving silence. You stop chasing shallow attention, and you start building depth. If this found you in the middle of your storm, let it be your reminder you're not weak. You're in the process of becoming unbreakable. You've been through the fire, now it's time to use it. So if you're ready to rise, to rebuild with purpose, to turn pain into power, subscribe, because here we don't run from the darkness, we grow through it. Hit that bell, join the ones who've stopped chasing approval and started building legacy. You've already survived the worst. Now let's create something no one can take from you.